We're live.
Hello.
Happy Sunday, everybody.
Welcome.
Today we are going to talk about MSC food. A hotly contested subject we have found out from our vlogs coming out this week and all the comments we've been getting.
We have, yes.
So let's roll into that.
Well, hello again and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are Jill and Jerry, the Cruising Canucks.
Yes, and this is our Sunday afternoon live stream every week at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And if you're listening to us recorded, you're probably catching us on our podcast called Banter Onboard.
Yes.
So today we want to talk about MSC food. Specifically, because our vlogs have been rolling out the last little while, you've seen some of the bizarre things that we have found on board.
And there's been some great things too.
Yes, and it isn't just about the quality of the food. In fact, that's the least of the problems we found on some of our days on the MSC seashore. But some of the problems was, we're going to talk about it. It was more than just the food itself. So, But first, we should get around and talk to a few people that have checked in today.
Sure, and as you're checking in, if you have a question, just please write the word question at the beginning of it in caps or bold so that we can see it and try to answer your questions as we go along today.
And I know it's bad luck in some parts of the world, but I have to cheers with water today.
Cheers with water.
We've got a cruise in 2 weeks, so we're cheersing with water because we do have the drink package on the next cruise. So
after our live with all of you last week, we decided to go ahead and book the Have It All for our upcoming cruise on the Volendam. And so there we are.
A picture of the week is from Brian and Athena.
Ooh.
And
did you tell them you were using it?
I didn't tell them I was using it.
We were just talking to you. We meant to give you the heads up about that on our conversation.
I just
we forgot.
Stole their picture of my favorite ship and put it on here today. There she is.
There she is.
Caribbean Princess. Brian and Athena just got off that ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just flew home from it yesterday.
Yep. So there you go. Hopefully we'll be back on that ship soon. If I get my way. Sometimes I don't. And what do we have next after picture of the week? Oh, we have trivia.
Oh gosh, here we go.
You might even know the answer to this one, so you can't give it away.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So since the Queen Anne came out this past week and the inaugural sailing is happening right now, I thought we should have a Cunard trivia question. Or some people across the ocean call this Cunard. Cunard, I think that's how it's said. But the question today is, Samuel Cunard was the father of Cunard Line, but he was born in what city? See, I'm going to watch the comments to see if anybody knows.
Let us know, what city was he born in? Put your answers in the comments.
And if you can't guess, I've got a hint coming up.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I do know the answer to this one, so I won't say it. Oh.
Someone from Halifax area is making a guess that it's from their area. Halifax?
Kylie says, can I have the pig Latin, please? Oh, Liverpool from someone.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have, before my recent dive into Cunard and the history and everything else, I would have guessed it was from the UK as well. That's one of my natural guess. But everybody that says Halifax is correct.
Halifax is correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That Samuel Cunard was from Halifax. The Cunard line started, I think, as actually a mail carrier from back and forth from North America to England, and then eventually passengers became involved, and as we know it, it gradually grew. So there's actually a statue of Samuel Cunard in Halifax at the port area. There's also an area in the museum there dedicated to him and what he started with the Cunard line. So we are looking forward to seeing some of that on our cruise in a couple weeks.
That's right.
So hopefully we'll get some footage of that to show you the origins of the Cunard line, which is timely because in our next cruise after Holland America will be a Cunard cruise.
Yes, we're excited that we'll be trying Cunard for the first time this summer.
And questions and comments of the week.
Okay. What did you come up with this week?
The first one came from Ken Dixon.
Oh.
Said, thank you for your vlogs, being honest about your experiences, the good, bad, and the ugly. I watch many cruise vlogs, and sometimes it's just sunshine and roses.
Yeah.
And so this goes back to our comments last week where we said that we were feeling a little bit intimidated about some of the people's pushback on what we said about MSC and being negative, but a ton of you, including Ken, came forward and said, no, we just want you to tell us the truth. That's all, and so that's what we're trying to do. So we just
Yeah, we appreciate that, guys, because we were sort of like, whoa, were we overly negative? Were we overly, and we try not to be, because we know that it's a privilege to cruise and travel, but we also want to be honest and share what we think is working well on a cruise and what isn't. So trying to find that balance is something that we constantly talk about. And so we did get a lot of sort of not great comments, basically people saying things like that we were complaining too much or something like that. So it's nice to hear that some of you thought that it was okay to sort of give you the struggles that we were feeling at that time.
And the next question is, Heather asks, is the Holland America drinks package similar to Princess Plus, or is it better to upgrade to the Elite package?
Great question.
So they're both packages. They both include slightly different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of the question is, I think with Holland America, you can also get a Elite drink package, right?
Elite drink package, yeah, that's right.
And maybe she's asking about the comparison of the drinks in each package.
She was, because we sort of did a little talk back and forth, Heather and I, messaging about back and forth with it. So what we know is, sorry, you can go ahead.
Well, I don't have anything to say.
Oh.
What would you know?
What I was going to say was what we know from the last time, and it's been almost a year since we were on Holland America. It was last July. So, things change quickly in the cruise world right now. So that's why I sort of hesitated to say my first instinct, what I was going to say. But anyways, last July when we were there, most of the bars, when I would look at the cocktail menus at the bar, the regular drink package covered almost every single drink, if not all of them. There were a few bars that there was one or maybe two that you would have required the Elite package in order to have it. But it was the majority of the drinks were covered when you're talking cocktails and that sort of thing. Where I noticed the biggest difference was when you were in, like, say, the main dining room and looking for a specific glass of wine to go with your dinner. If you're, very particular on what type of wine you want, then you might want to look at the Elite package if that's a big priority for you. Because, don't get me wrong, the regular package gave you options. I was able to pick different types of wine throughout the whole time on the regular package. But some of the more expensive wines, the Elite package would cover that I couldn't, my regular package didn't.
There you go.
But that's about it. It was really just the wine for the most part.
And Princess has better wine options? If you're comparing?
Oh, no.
No? Oh, so
No.
it's the same? Okay.
I would think that Holland America was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the last question that came in, based on our last video.
Oh, there's some people that are giving, can we just go to a few? Because there's some more people here giving me answers that might sort of help answer that. So right here, on Holland America was sad that the Long Island iced teas cost an extra $1.19 per drink because the basic package and also the martinis. So that's news to me. Yeah, we didn't know that. So I guess there is you might get small charges if you go to different drinks. Because I think it's $11 a drink. Is it that we looked at last week? Oh, okay.
I don't want to guess.
Okay. I don't want to guess either. I thought you might have had that from when we just booked it. Okay, go ahead then.
All done with that one?
Mm-hmm.
Kylie said something at the end. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about what she said.
I can't read it.
I think Holland America also now do where the cost is above your package price and you only pay the difference.
You only pay the difference. Yeah, exactly. So you might just pay $1.39 like that example there, or a little bit more. But yes.
Yep. And Scott is saying, our expert cruise guru, that Holland America has better wine selection now than Princess.
Okay. So here it is. It is, yes, $11 covers any drink. Your basic drink package is $11, and then the premium is $15 drinks. Thanks, Kylie. I thought that's what it was, but we keep comparing so many different cruise lines back and forth. It's hard to remember it. Mm-hmm.
And last question is, have you guys tried spam filter fritters? Have you tried them?
No.
Will you?
No.
Okay. And that leads us into our topic today.
Well, there you go. So as I don't know if you've watched our vlog that came out this week, Jerry found spam in the breakfast buffet and he actually enjoyed it. So it's not a negative thing, but I was kind of shocked, as you would have seen in the video, that spam, like things that every day that Jerry went to the buffet, he'd come back to the table with something I'd never seen on a cruise ship ever before. There was Pop-Tarts one morning that he had. There was spam the next. plums is only, and that's the thing that he loves, that they carry plums. He's never seen that on other cruise lines that we've been on. So that's a good one. But yeah, the Spam was a little shocking to me. I've never tried Spam in my life, so I shouldn't really, no, thank you. Shouldn't really comment about it negatively or not, but it's just not something that I thought was typical cruise food, I guess.
Oh, Bruno wants some.
Oh, yeah.
Want some plum?
Stop.
So where to start with MSC food? So let's start out with, I guess, quality of food. Let's start there. Kind of an overreaching MSC food theme.
Okay.
I would say quality of food. I don't think most of the times I did not have a problem with quality. How about you?
No.
Like what there was available was usually prepared in a way that I would expect to be prepared, tasted like it was. I thought the temperature was good most times. The odd times there was a miss, but that's typical on most cruises. But what I found was really odd was that if you go on MSC and you read the description, or any cruise line, you read the description of what's coming in the food item that you're interested in. It usually goes into a lot of details of what it's served with or all that type of stuff.
What the ingredients are.
Yeah, okay, it gives you a kind of a snapshot of what the dish is you're about to order. I find with MSC more than any other cruise that it won't be like that. It'll come out with things that are missing or something different than what was said.
So for instance, our very first sea day, we went to the restaurant for lunch and Jerry ordered the burger. Now on the description of the burger, it said it had lettuce, tomatoes, sauteed onions and mushrooms, something else.
Hickory bacon.
Right. Yep. And then his burger came and it looked like it had cheese whiz and that was it. Or maybe a Velveeta or something along that, some sort of cheese spread. And nothing, no other condiments, nothing. So that was the first time I think you've ever returned a meal in a dining room.
I sent back the burger. I said, this is nothing like what it said in the description. Can I have the burger that's in the description or what's supposed to be on it?
With all the toppings that it's supposed to have.
And they actually brought me out another burger and it had all the toppings.
Yeah.
So why did I? And I know for sure I can mumble sometimes, some people say. But I didn't ask for anything special. I didn't say hold this or change. I just said I want the burger, and I just pointed on the menu. So I didn't ask for it any different, but it just came much different. I've noticed that with other things that whatever the side is supposed to be, sometimes it'll be a little bit different than what it said it was going to be, or whatever the vegetable is supposed to be, it'll be different.
Absolutely, we found that pretty regularly throughout the cruise for sure.
Yeah, it's like the menu is kind of only a rough estimate of what's coming.
Guideline, but not really where you're getting that, which can be very tricky if you're traveling with someone who has food allergies. And, for us, we've always been very mindful of it because we've always had a daughter with a nut allergy and seafood allergy. And now Jerry's developed a nut allergy. So you kind of want to have a specific detail on your ordering of what ingredients are in your food. And it seems like they just sort of substitute if they want. I don't know, but that's what our experience was. And the next thing, so let's talk about a positive. They're still serving lobster in the main dining room for FOMO night. And delicious. It was so good. Sometimes I've had lobster on other cruise lines where it's just been overcooked and it's just rubbery and, not very tasteful. But the lobster that we had that night on MSC for free in the main dining room, or included, I should say, we didn't have to pay an upcharge to get lobster, was very tasty, delicious. They had delicious grilled shrimp with it. So, a lot of cruise lines are getting away from having lobster included in their main dining room meal without having a surcharge. And so I appreciated that for sure. That was a huge bonus.
And I don't eat the red meat, but how did you find stuff like the prime ribs and the steaks and that type of stuff in the dining room?
The best way I can describe it was inconsistent. The very first night we were on the cruise ship, I ordered the prime rib. I ordered it medium rare. It definitely came well done. And it was so bad I couldn't finish it. And then a few nights later, I had the steak Diane, and it was delicious, melt in your mouth steak. So again, it was sort of, hit and a miss, or inconsistent, I should say. There were some days that the meals were great, and then some more days where it's like, wow, how could this be so bad?
I tried a few more different type of dishes.
Okay.
And they were kind of a hit and miss. They were, some things I would have argued came out of like a box that was frozen food. Like some of it had that feel to it to me.
I would say that I thought every dessert we had felt like that. It was very rare to think that we had a dessert that was fresh. It all felt like it was something from the frozen section of your grocery store.
In fact, I had a couple desserts, cakes, I think it were, that I could tell that, you know how if you thaw a cake that's a frozen cake and you put it on the counter and you serve it for company coming over, and you can tell the outside's kind of close to room temperature and the inside's closer,
Still frozen.
not quite frozen, but really, really cold. I had a few pieces of cake that were like that, and I thought, that's odd. Was this a frozen cake that's been thawed out in the kitchen?
Yeah.
I really had that feeling that it was something was off with the desserts.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what's going on, that's a change for us. That, you know, we've done lots of galley tours and behind the scenes stuff on ships and seen them making fresh desserts and pastries and all that good stuff on a cruise.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that was the case.
Yeah, it definitely was suspicious, that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Going to selection, let's go main dining room first. As far as selection items on the menu, I had a lot of the same stuff, but that's a me thing. What do you think compared to other cruise lines? Main.
There might have been a little bit of a lesser options than some of the cruise lines. There was, I think, where I found the biggest challenge was probably for dessert. There was usually only a couple options for dessert, and a lot of them. So I had the cheesecake, and I don't mind cheesecake, but it's not my favorite thing. But I had it a couple of times because there wasn't any other options. But I think for the main thing, like you could always get the salmon. So that's usually a fallback for both Jerry and I if we don't see anything else. So I liked that they at least have that, you know, like most cruise lines do now, a salmon or a chicken or some sort of red meat on their everyday menu. So you do have options.
Mm-hmm. And I found some different appetizers here and there that I tried, and they had the staples like a Caesar salad, as you saw me have night after night, which is pretty standard on a lot of cruises. So
they have French onion soup every single night.
Yeah, so yeah, that's similar to other
available.
cruises. And then when it comes to the other part of the main dining room was the timeliness of your meals, the menus, the service, all those extra things outside the food itself. That's when kind of the wheels came off a few times.
That's where we had the biggest challenge, for sure.
First of all, menus were almost impossible to get. Actual menus that I expect that are like open up and they've got the menu there didn't exist. It was like photocopies of paper.
Yes.
One night, I think one of the items actually had someone taken a marker and crossed out the item. That's kind of, and we had a table of 6 adults. We never ever once had 6 menus. We were usually one for sure was given to us.
Sometimes
two. And the biggest frustrating, we eat the dining room every single night for 7 nights in a row. Every night it was a shock to our wait team that we wanted to have a menu.
Yeah, like we've been on other cruises post-COVID where they were trying to encourage you to use the QR codes with your phone and that sort of thing. And we would say to our waiter the first night, oh, we would prefer to have a paper menu, please. Because to be quite honest, unless I bring glasses with me, I can't be reading the menu on my phone, all of that stuff. Anyways, but generally you just have to ask once. When we've been on Princess or Holland America, even Carnival, they knew that, okay, this table wants paper menus, and they would have them there for us the rest of the cruise, whereas that wasn't the case. Every single night when we went to the dining room, we had to ask for a paper menu, and it usually delayed us like 5 or 10 minutes before they would even give us one, at least.
Sometimes they would walk up to us and ask us what our order was, and we hadn't even had a chance to ask them for a menu yet.
Yeah.
So we didn't even know what we want. We didn't know what was on the menu. They had assumed that we had used our phone, and we're just sitting there, waiting and having conversation, waiting for wait staff so we can get a menu. And
I think that's a management decision that they're trying to get away from people using paper menus, and so they're sort of making it difficult for you to get a paper menu. But it was frustrating for sure.
And as far as the timeliness of the food, we found the service slower than other cruise lines, and we found it wasn't just us. So it wasn't because we had a table of 6. I looked around, there's other tables, and they were getting their meals around the same time as us. And so, yeah, we found it slow. At least for the first half of the cruise, we were often over 2 hours for our meals. Towards the end, the last few nights, we came down to about an hour and a half. So it was a little bit better, an hour 20 sometime. So that was a challenge for sure, because you're trying to plan to say get to a theater show or do something, and your meal was stretching out, and from the time you ordered, sometimes before you even had your first appetizer come out, you'd be 45 minutes.
From the time you placed an order to the time you got your appetizer. That seems kind of long.
It's a long time, for sure. So yeah. And even just the table setting, the inconsistencies on the table. Like sometimes we would have salt and pepper. Sometimes we'd only have salt. Sometimes only pepper.
Or neither.
Sometimes we would have a butter knife. on our plate. Sometimes we wouldn't have a butter knife on our plate. It was odd that just the table setups themselves were.
Sometimes you'd go there and there'd be wine glasses for everybody, and some more times there'd only be 2 wine glasses.
Yeah, it was really strange that there wasn't a standard setup for each table and for each place as far as what you had for cutlery and how it was organized on the table. I'd never seen that before, where it was kind of a random thing. Like,
yeah, I felt like they ran out of materials, like they didn't have enough to fully set their whole dining room. They had to share glasses and cutlery and salt and pepper, but there were, I think, 2 nights that the table next to us, they would use their salt and pepper, and they would overhear us asking for salt and pepper, and they would hand their salt and pepper to us from another table. So yeah, that happened.
There was another night where there was like an empty table nearby, and it did have salt or pepper or something, and we had to walk over there and get it ourselves.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that, you would never, like, if I'm home in my dining room having dinner and I need to get the salt and pepper, I can go pick it up. Yes. But when you go on a cruise, you have an expectation, and I don't think it was meeting that expectation of service that we get on a cruise ship typically. Yeah,
right.
Even a regular restaurant or a diner, those are things that you take for granted.
Standard on a table is salt and pepper, right?
So then you go up to the buffet, and again, food quality wasn't a problem. I hesitate only because sometimes food temperature was a bit of a problem, I found. But selection was phenomenal. In fact, there was things on the buffet, and this happened on the first MSC cruise and on the seashore, that I had never seen ever before. Like, it was creative ways of coming up with new dishes with traditional ingredients. It was different food that I hadn't seen that was more international. So I did give them credit for the variety of different types of food. If you were adventurous and wanted to try different things, there was lots to try. But there was also some weird stuff in there too.
Jerry's more adventurous at a buffet than I am. I like particular things, and I'm not a big casserole fan, so I don't like a whole bunch of ingredients mixed in things. I'm more meat and potato type of person. So for me, I struggled more with the buffet, and the only saving grace that I had in the buffet was that their pizza is delicious, and I probably had pizza every single day for lunch on the 7-day cruise, because I would try 1 or 2 other things on the buffet and generally not eat it. Yeah. So you had better luck at the buffet. But the biggest issue with the buffet we had was that there was too many people for the size of the buffet. You could walk around and do laps around the buffet trying to find a table. And then when you found a table, it was generally dirty, and you were trying to find someone to wipe the table down. We spent most of our cruise taking napkins and wiping our tables before we would eat all the time. So that was a big challenge. And the lineups to get to the food was extremely long too. So, I mean, I would say I'm not a fan of buffets. I'll say that first off. We've been on cruises before where I've gone the whole week without stepping foot into the buffet, but you didn't have the option not to do that on MSC. They don't have sort of like Princess and Holland America does, where they have burger places and pizza places that you can go separately. You had to go to the buffet at lunchtime. And so it hurted everybody in there, and it was so loud and it was dirty and crowded that it just turned me right off of it.
And the other problem, you probably saw some of our vlogs where you see these big white blinds that were pulled down in front of the buffet. It was really strange that all these people were coming there for the start of the buffet, and they would have only half the buffet open. And for like almost an hour, those blinds would stay down. I think the buffet opened at 11:30 for lunch, and by 12:30 they would open up the blinds on the second part of the buffet. Meanwhile, it was already packed in there. They didn't seem to open it up based on the number of people that were looking for food. They were sticking to their time. But what I found really strange, it wasn't like a preparation issue where the food wasn't ready.
No, it was there.
The food was behind there. Sometimes they would lift the blinds up. You could finally get to the food. We would go up there, and it would be lukewarm, almost cold, because it sat there for almost an hour with the blind down before they would open it up to let you. So I understand if the food's being prepared and it's not ready yet, nothing they can do about that. But when the food's sitting there and you won't lift the blind and they won't open the blind so people can get the food, that made no sense to me at all.
Yeah.
So, and I guess the overall theme, and you had said this to me earlier, was across the board with the food on MSC, everything was inconsistent.
Inconsistent is the best way I can describe it. One day something would be great, and you're like, okay, I found something that I love. I'm going to have this again. And that wasn't the case, with the exception of the pizza. It was great the first day I tried it, and it tastes the same, and it was available every single day from then on. And so that's what I ate every single day. But inconsistent was the best way I can describe the food and the service on the MSC ship.
Yeah, it kept coming back to us as we looked around, thinking it just feels like it's mismanaged. Like it really felt like it was a management issue. They didn't have any protocols for what staff could do to set up tables, to be able to organize their service in a way that was timely, to be able to run a buffet in a way that when the crowds came in, they were able to meet the needs. It felt mismanaged. Like it was like the first time someone was running a cruise ship. It was really odd.
Right.
Yes. That we'd never seen that before. That usually that's the strength of the cruise industry is they anticipate needs. They go above and beyond expectations. Whereas MSC was like they were struggling to keep up with what the demands were. Now that's a symptom of too many people on a ship. Maybe.
Right.
It could be that was the problem.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was overcrowded passengers with not enough staff to deal with the amount of passengers they had on board, for sure.
Yep. And I guess the other thing that was odd was some of the menu choices and the way things were prepared and presented. Like everything from the Pop-Tarts I found to the Spam that I found. I had joked around saying that it felt like MSC had gone into a local grocery store in Miami or something and just randomly saw what it was that Americans like to eat and just grabbed a handful of it and put it in their buffet. Like it was really strange. It wasn't like it was like a culinary experience. It was like them trying to anticipate what they thought maybe North Americans wanted on their ships. I don't know if that was the case or not, but it was weird. Some of the menu selections for sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I guess the last thing I want to talk about food real quick was Ocean Key is usually part of the itinerary with a lot of cruises out of Florida. We've been there a couple times now, and they have a buffet now. That way, you did hear that they were expanding or making renovations to that.
That is supposed to be in the plans. We've heard that they're going to be putting more money onto the island and adding another beach and children's area. But then one of the other things they mentioned was that they were going to make improvements to their buffet.
Yeah, so improvements for us to the buffet, they're twofold. One of them is that they've got to change up the setup, that the lines are too long, that when people start going to the buffet, they're lined up out of the building and down the walkway because they have the old approach of where you go to a buffet, it's a single line, and you have to go all the way through the whole line to get through the whole buffet. That there's no option to walk up to a station and get something.
Right.
So they need stations of like salad sections and warm food sections, and
they do have an express station just for hamburgers, hot dogs, which you saw if you watched our vlog. That's what we did because the line to go to the regular buffet, and I thought I wanted to go to the regular buffet. I thought I was looking for like some grilled fish or something like that. I was hoping, but we stood in the line for like 5 or 10 minutes, and it had moved one person, and so I thought, well, this line isn't moving. We'll just go grab a burger and fries.
Yeah, so they have that option, but otherwise it's a long line to get the other warm food and the salads and so forth. So they need to have more options or ways of laying that out so you can get to the food. And the other problem was, again, consistency. That we grabbed, for example, we grabbed a burger at the buffet at that grab and go section and opened it up, and it'd been sitting there so long that the bun was turning to mush and like disintegrating your hands.
Yeah, it was soggy right through. It's like you had taken a bun right out of a glass of water. That's what it felt like.
And then we went over to there's little food trucks that serve a lot of the similar food. And I realized that they weren't cooking the food in the food trucks. They were shipping it in from the buffet and just staging it there.
Oh.
But we grabbed a burger from there, and it wasn't soggy. It was actually decent. It was cold because it had been dragged over from the buffet and presented there. So the inconsistencies were just, it was frustrating at times because I felt like they were so close to be able to provide what people expect on the cruise experience, but they were just missing it by mismanagement. It just felt like it was a swing and a miss on how it was all being run, but they had the grassroots there they could do something with. So yeah, if you're adventurous, you like different food options, MSC is definitely the way to go. But if you expect consistent quality service, and dining is a big important part of how you cruise, like the dining room experience and all of that, then MSC might not match up to what you've found in other cruise lines.
MSC does some things really well, guys.
Yep.
I love the way their cabins are. I think they're spacious. We had family with us that was in an interior room, and it was very spacious. We had a deluxe balcony, lots of space. Loved the layout of the room, the cabin. I really recommend, or really appreciate their design of their cabins and the design of their ships for the most part. We enjoyed the ships are pretty. Obviously their crystal staircases are renowned. They're, famous, but, so yeah, there's things like, if that's really important to you, that's a great one. Their entertainment, we think is very, good, really enjoyable. If you like a nightlife, it's great, that sort of thing. But if you're going on a cruise because you're a foodie and that's what you want to do, then I would highly recommend, if MSC is the cruise that you picked, that you're probably going to have to spend money in the specialty restaurants. We tried to get into the specialty restaurants, and I guess we left it too late and couldn't get reservations. But they are really expensive, some of them, depending on which ones you go to. There are some that are less expensive, but their steakhouse compared to other steakhouse houses on cruise ships were quite a bit more expensive.
Yeah. You kind of stole all my words.
Oh, did I? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say that of all the food we tried, we didn't do the specialty dining, so we really have no comment on how that adds or
exactly.
to the experience.
Because it might make it. It might make it. If I was booked on an MSC right now, I'd be like, Jerry, we need to get into some specialty dining, because it's got to be a lot better than what the main dining room gives you.
Yeah, and I have seen other vloggers that have done some of specialty dining on MSC, specifically the Seashore, and their takeaway was, I'm not sure whether that was their thing either. So there's no guarantee that going to specialty dining is going to elevate the dining experience, because we never did it. We have no idea.
We don't know.
So no idea.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, so there's our live rant, I guess. We thought there was a lot of people that wanted answers about it, and we thought, well, it was time to sort of talk exactly about the gist of it with you. And so that's us being honest as to what we experienced. Some stuff we loved, some stuff we didn't. But yes, I'm seeing some comments come in, and a few people have said, please hit the like button. Yes, that would be really appreciative. We only have 3 people that have liked the video so far, is what I'm seeing. So please like the video if you're following along, help support the channel. We appreciate that.
Where do you see the 3?
Right up there in your corner of your screen where it shows. We have 3 likes out of the whole thing. So I guess maybe you didn't like our rant. I get it. We don't like to rant either, but every now and then.
I don't think it was a rant. I think it was just an honest expression of what we experienced when we were on MSC. And I go back to, everybody gets something different and wants something different out of the cruise. And if dressing up, going to the dining room, having a wonderful experience in the dining room is part of the experience for you that's important, then I would be cautious on MSC, because I'm not sure you're going to get that experience. If just going to a crowded buffet and fighting and grabbing some food and heading back out to do whatever on the ship is your thing, then you might not notice.
Then you'll be fine.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So,
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So there's one question here. Pam wants to know, do you know if Hal is still offering the Mariners lunch in the main dining room on sail away day? So Pam, I can't wait to find this out for myself, because we've been told that no, they aren't. And I'm very disappointed by that, but we will definitely be checking that out when we get on board in 2 weeks, or less than 2 weeks now, because that's been our tradition, as we get on board and we enjoy their Holland America Mariners lunch so great. And it starts off the vacation nice. But we're told, we've had people be on the ship and saying it's not happening right now. So hopefully that's wrong, but
that's the word online, is that they have stopped offering that Mariners lunch. They said that the comment from the people running the dining room to people that found this out was that it was not well attended, so they decided to cancel it. We questioned that when they were pushed even further. A lot of people actually started this whole email campaign of emailing Holland America saying, bring back the Mariners lunch on embarkation day.
Yeah.
And the comments back have been basically what you expect. Thank you for your feedback. We'll pass this on, that type of thing. So, but
maybe if enough of us Holland America cruisers, write it in your post-cruise survey. And again, you can always email any concerns to Holland America, but there's a reason why they give us those surveys, and they do read those surveys. So if that's something that you've enjoyed and they're taking it away, then I will definitely myself personally note that in our survey when we get off the ship, because yes, I love starting my day on a Holland America cruise at their dining room lunch, Mariners lunch. So,
and part of the problem is a lot of people didn't even know about it because it was not well advertised. And it appeared that we had to be part of the Mariners Society to attend, but really it was open to anybody. So I think a lot of people just went to the buffet. And in fact, when we got on the ships the last few times, they were trying to direct us to go up to the Lido deck and go there for lunch. Right? They didn't even give us the option to go there, even though we knew it was an option.
Right.
So, yeah.
And Twyla's saying they no longer do the lunch, but they have a soiree for 3, 4, and 5-star mariners. And I did hear that too. Maybe it was Twyla that told me that, but that they are doing the soiree again. So if that's the case, we'll check it out and we'll be vlogging it for you, because we haven't been a part of that yet. So hopefully that's the case.
And Moo Man says that we dodged the buffet on the Westerdam.
The entire cruise.
Yep. So there you go.
Wow.
Now, in saying that, though, as much as you don't like buffets, you'll admit that probably the best buffet at sea that your opinion is the Holland America one.
Yeah, the very first time we went on Holland America, and I went to the buffet of the New Amsterdam was the ship, and I had a wonderful lunch and was really impressed with how the stations were and how this was prior to COVID, the staff were serving you instead of other people touching the food, which I appreciate for cleanliness and hygiene reasons. So yeah, I've enjoyed Holland America's buffets, and I will say that I think Princess has. I enjoy theirs too. Sometimes they've had some really great ones that we've been a part of.
And maybe Twyla knows, but I'm not sure that 3, 4, 5-star Mariner thing lunch is even an embarkation thing. I think it's at some point.
No, yeah, I think it's later in the
Might
cruise.
be something through the cruise that's provided. Yeah. So there you go. So your 3 is wrong.
Oh, okay. So there's a little I wish I could show people what we're seeing on the side, because now people are telling us we have 66 likes. So thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
You were starting.
Because I thought, oh wow, well, we really must have been too negative again, because I saw 3 likes. So what is that you're seeing then that I'm showing?
Doesn't matter.
All right.
Like a lot of things in life, doesn't matter.
Anyways.
So Scott is saying that the salad selections are good.
Yes. Exactly.
I don't spend a lot of time at the salad section though.
Yeah, I know, but it looks really good. Every now and then I will do it, but not very often.
Is it Holland America that has like the big, huge salad bowls?
Yes,
that
they
you
do.
fill up?
The big green bowls. So we've done it a few times, and we've actually, we've enjoyed it when we've done it. But if you're like us, we've been eating salad quite a bit the last week or so, and we eat all of the healthy stuff, and like we had salad and salmon for dinner the other night, in attempt to get into that cruise, that pre-cruise weight, so we can enjoy ourselves while we're on the cruise.
Ob and Steve say the first time they were on Holland America, they went for the Mariners lunch, and that's where they got their ship coasters. So we've only ever had those on like our bed when we go back to the cabin.
They deliver them to your room now.
Yeah, or in the little mailbox area outside your room.
Oh yes,
because we had ours there go missing one time. Yeah. And Kylie's saying the salads are delicious. And Cruise for Life says, message where you live in Ontario. They're in Keswick.
They live in Keswick. Oh, nice.
There we go.
For Life. We're in Northern Ontario.
Yes.
Sault Ste. Marie area.
Yes. Downtown Canada. And Ship to Shore Cruise sailing on first Holland America cruise from Whittier to Vancouver at the end of June. There you go. And Holland America is a good line to do Alaska with. So you'll enjoy that. We were telling friends of ours about all the special things that Holland America does on Alaska cruise. So.
And James and Kimmy Cat are asking, been looking at 2026 cruises. Any ideas for group cruise in 2026?
Well, we can't tell you everything yet because we're still planning, but we are actually looking now at dates and specific ships for the 2026 group cruise, even though we're booking the 25. And then, by the way, for the 25 group cruise, there's still room available. I think we're up to 55 people with more inquiring this week. So that is
2025 February 1st. New Sun and Dawn.
Yes.
Check that out if you're interested. And James and Kimmy Cat, we've had a lot of people saying they're not going to be able to make it for 2025, that they need more time because they've already booked time for 25. So we're trying to give everybody more notice for 2026. And so we started that, and we think we have a plan, and we're just going to contact the cruise line and try to get that organized, and hopefully be able to announce something sooner than later.
Yes.
Probably just after we get back from our next cruise. We're hoping to have something firmed up for everybody. Yeah. So yes, we are planning, and we are trying to do it.
Yeah. And we're looking at early 26.
Yes.
26? 2026.
2026.
So yes, keep your calendar open for the first few months of 26.
Never had a complaint with the buffet on Celebrity. We've heard the food on Celebrity is amazing. We've heard that. We've yet to travel with them, but we've heard the same thing. And
Twyla says we'll get an invitation to your room about that.
The soiree.
Mariners Club soiree.
Okay.
And
February 1st, 2025, Gary's going to be on a Holland America Panama Canal cruise.
There you go. Leaving the same day as us.
There you go.
What if he's leaving from the same port as us? We can race him. And to close it out, James and Kimmy Cat are excited now for 2026 group cruise. So it is going to happen.
It is.
And we're getting close because we want to give people lots of time. This time we only gave about 9 months notice. This time we're going to give you over a year's notice, maybe a year and a half. So we can get everybody booked for 2026.
That's right.
Yes. I think that's all we have for today.
It is. And thanks, guys, for watching and following along and your support. And, next week we'll be hopefully, while we're doing this live with you, we'll be pretty much packed and ready to get on another cruise ship. So we'll be talking about that.
Yeah, next week we'll be talking all about our Holland America cruise in Volendam and all that for the East Coast of Canada.
Mhm.
And then we're hoping the week after that, we normally miss a live because we're on a ship. We're hoping to do a live from Quebec City from the Volendam.
Yes.
So hopefully
that all
works.
works out.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been in contact with Holland America, and they're going to try to help us make sure we've got enough internet to be able to live stream with you.
that's the plan.
Mhm.
Okay, so have a good week, everybody. We'll talk to you next Sunday, and take care.
Bye
Thanks.
for now. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.